Is this the kiddie version of the Grand Budapest Hotel? You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of Muppets Most Wanted.
There must be some mistake. I'm Kermit the Frog. I'm not Constantine.
You're going to be here a while.
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Kermit the Frog here. I am Kermit, and now you guys have all the freedom you want.
What?
When do I do the indoor running of the bulls?
I can't watch.
Dominic, international tour manager.
Dominic, bad guy?
Bad G.
It's French.
Man, the European thriller is coming back with a vengeance. Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple, Blake Edwards' Inspector Clouseau. It's been a while since this genre's heyday, but it seems to be back in style. BBC's Sherlock, Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel, and now James Bobbin and Nick Stoller's Muppets Most Wanted. Bobbin and Stoller are responsible for starting this Muppet renaissance, but their third musketeer is AWOL. Yes, while many people inside Hollywood and out remembered the Muppets fondly, Jason Segel is the only one who did anything about it. After working with the Jim Henson Company on Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Segel was inspired, along with his frequent collaborator Stoller, to approach Disney about relaunching the brand. And when the duo teamed up with Flight of the Conchords co-creators James Bobbin and Bret McKenzie, they created Hipster Heaven. By the way, Bobbin and McKenzie's third musketeer, Jermaine Clement, sat out the Muppets, but cameos here. The Muppets was a pretty solid success, certainly more so than our felt friends had seen in years. And Mackenzie won the Oscar for Best Original Song. He also returns here, but supposedly Jason Segel is too busy wrapping up How I Met Your Mother and losing weight. He is super thin. Anyway, speaking of TV, one has to wonder if an entire cast of TV stars is why the sequel is tracking far behind 2011's The Muppets, set to open with 10 million less. Ricky Gervais, TV. Tina Fey, mostly TV with a lot of box office bombs. And Ty Burrell? Well, Mr. Peabody and Sherman did just rebound to take the #1 spot in its second weekend, but with 2 movies in the same month, is he cannibalizing his own audience? Still, he's guaranteed 1 solid hit. Disney is already knee-deep in successful brands, and Segel has got to watch out for #1 because he is not a Muppet. So if we find out audiences don't particularly care either, will the Muppet Renaissance be over before it really ever began? Maybe Disney can computer animate them. So, in my opinion, the Muppets do 2 types of comedy. One is spoofs, like A Muppet Christmas Carol, and the other is their pure brand of Muppet humor, unfiltered through a genre or a classic story. And the example I would give for that is their classic TV series, The Muppet Show. And the problem that I think exists with Muppets Most Wanted is that it tries to do both types of comedy. It doesn't pick. And while I'm sure there are some people who love everything the Muppets do, they're diehard fans who will certainly enjoy this movie, for people like myself who really only like one, I like spoofs, and I really actually dislike their, the pure Muppet humor. The result is a movie that has tremendous ups and tremendous downs. I mean, I would be incredibly engaged at some points where I felt that the movie was close to brilliance, and then I'd be like looking at my watch wondering when it was going to be over because it just had lost me. The movie's very frenetic, and I would say it throws so much up at the screen that some of it hits the bullseye and some of it flies so wide that I think it sails completely past the target. So you have basically what I'm saying is you have an incredibly uneven movie. So first, I guess I'll say what I liked. Now, again, remember that I'm coming from the direction of someone who enjoys the spoofs. So if you like their classic, the pure Muppet humor, you'll probably take away entirely different things from the film. But as someone who enjoys the spoofs, I happen to really enjoy the live-action characters, the live-action actors, for instance, because they were involved with the spoofs primarily. Tina Fey did a great job spoofing a Russian prison. I thought she had some good moments. Ricky Gervais as, a European caper, a European thief, that was very good. I liked the character of Constantine, although I thought toward the end he has an encounter with, Fozzie and I believe Walter is that Muppet, that new Muppet that, Jason Segel introduced in the last movie. They have an encounter which I thought genuinely got disturbing. That's something that Constantine does, a way he uses to escape. That I was just like, I think the movie went a little bit too far there. I'm a little officially creeped out. But overall, I liked those elements. And then also Ty Burrell. Ty Burrell was phenomenal. Now, let me just preface this by saying, recently I've fallen out of love with Ty Burrell because on Modern Family, I think Phil Dunphy, his character, has gone from being a lovable doofus to just annoying, which is, a risk with lovable doofuses. They often tend to get annoying eventually. And I think that that's happened to Phil Dunphy. He's run out of material. So I've been approaching Ty Burrell recently with trepidation. But when I saw him here, I was like, wow, I've fallen in love with you again, Ty Burrell. You're a very talented comedian. I think, for instance, if they ever were to make another Pink Panther movie, I would consider calling Ty Burrell. He really did a great job. And I have to say, I'm a sucker for a good French joke. And they partnered him also with Sam the Eagle, one of my favorite Muppets. I like Sam the Eagle and Kermit. So, of course, when you put Ty Burrell as an Inspector Clouseau type character opposite Sam the Eagle, I'm just in comedy heaven, Muppet heaven at least. But I want to say that despite the live action characters and the Muppets, the real star of this movie is someone you don't see on screen, and that's Bret McKenzie. His music is so good, I was actually tapping my feet in the theater. I would not be surprised at all if he was nominated again for an Oscar for Best Original Song off of this movie, although I'm not even sure which one he would be nominated for. He has an embarrassment of riches here. There are three that I really liked. One I got for free when I bought my ticket on Fandango. It's I'll Get You What You Want by Constantine. I thought that was a very clever song. But two I liked so much I actually purchased them in addition. The other one is I'm Number One, sung by Constantine and Ricky Gervais. I thought that was very well done. But the real showstopper, the show-stopping number was the Interrogation Song by Ty Burrell and Sam the Eagle. It was just so clever and catchy. I just really liked it. I mean, Bret McKenzie's lyrics are very witty. That you don't see them coming, and they have rhymes that are fun. They aren't like wah wah. I mean, they really did a nice job. Bret McKenzie, huge kudos, and I can't imagine this movie without his work. To the point where I was sitting there going, why doesn't Disney call him up for their animated films? I think he could really come up with some great numbers. I mean, with all due respect to the, Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez, but you don't want to always listen to the same type of music. I think, he's almost, Howard Ashman level in terms of being able to tell a story, move the story forward with his songs. I was just really impressed with the song work here, and I think you definitely should get the soundtrack. And I would actually say the movie is worth seeing not only because of the music, but because you're going to want to see the musical numbers that go with them. They do a really nice job bringing these songs to life, and they're a lot of fun to watch. I just thought that was great. Now, what didn't I like about the movie? As I said, I don't like pure Muppet humor. For instance, when Gonzo suggests an indoor running of the bulls, some people might go, that is hilariously ridiculous. And I just go, that's ridiculous. That's annoyingly ridiculous. I mean, I really side with Kermit here. It's like, no, Gonzo, you can't do that. You just stop giving me ridiculous suggestions. And that's another problem I have with the Muppets in general. One of the ongoing gags I feel about the Muppets is how awful they are. But at a point, when you reach a certain point, and you're like, you know what, you win. You are pretty awful. I mean, I have a hard time laughing at just, bad humor. I guess that, Fozzie to some degree, that's his whole thing. But when you apply it to the whole Muppet Show, I mean, there are instances you'll see in the movie when the audience within the film is supposed to be unhappy, and it's like, well, that negative energy carries over into the real audience that's watching the film. And also, like, one of the early lines in the film is, and the first musical number is, the sequel is never good as the first film. And it's like, what? Why would you put that idea in my head? It's like, it's just so many little, negative, paper cuts that eventually, you're bleeding a lot. So that was my problem with the film, and I would say, while I said you should see it at some point, I actually think this is probably a better rental, unless you are one of these diehard Muppet fans. It also has, by the way, I want to point out some very nice European settings. I mean, I don't think they actually traveled to these countries, but I think that they had some great establishing shots. They sent out another unit to go and get them, and you can really see, for instance, the thing that really surprised me the most was a beautiful overhead skyline shot of Madrid, which I'd never seen from that vantage point before, and I was surprised to see all those beautiful modern skyscrapers, and really piqued my curiosity about the city. So rent Muppets Most Wanted, but, I suggest you see it at some point. So I'm curious, what did you guys think of the movie? Which side are you on, spoofs or that pure Muppet humor? Or are you a diehard Muppet fan who enjoys it all? Which live-action characters did you like the best? And do you agree with me about Bret McKenzie's work on the songs? And which was your favorite song? Finally, if you're going to see this movie for the cameos, the celebrity cameos, just realize they're extremely fleeting. Like, for instance, by the time you're done going, hey, look who that is, that's so-and-so, the person's gone. I mean, even, for instance, Tom Hiddleston. I know a lot of people have been excited about his cameo. I mean, you've seen it in the trailer. That's how short it is. But as I said, the music, that's the big takeaway here. Get the soundtrack and see it for those musical numbers. All right, thank you for tuning in for my review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.